Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains, and today we're going to be diving deep into some of my favorite indie yarn dyers. So you're not going to want to miss this episode. Hey there. All right, so I love yarn. You know I love yarn. We all love yarn. Why would we be here if we didn't love yarn? And through my travels and experiences, I have come across a few indie dyers that I have absolutely come to love. Now, I know there are a lot of indie dyers out there, so I'm looking to you all to comment and let me know some of your favorites, because I know that there's some that I'm not going to be mentioning here just because I haven't ordered from them. Doesn't make them any better or any worse. I just want to talk about the ones that I've recently ordered from, why I like them so much, and why I love the indie dyer. So the first one, and I know that a lot of you know this one, and this is Arcane Fiberworks. So Tyler Burgess and his family run Arcane Fibers. Tyler is the dyer, if you will, but his whole family, his wife and his two little cuties, they help to run the business as well. Tyler has a really big internet following. He does a lot on Instagram, he does a lot on YouTube, and he actually shows you his dyeing process. What I think really drew me into him was he has the most incredible pictures that are his inspiration. So each one of the dyers I'm going to show you today have their inspiration, and I want to talk about that as well. But Tyler has these gorgeous, colorful, vibrant pictures that he uses as inspiration when he dyes his yarn. He was also having a Black Friday sale, so you know, again. So let's take a look. And I wanted to wait for a couple of these to arrive so that I could showcase them together. But rather than doing the separate videos for each one of the dyers, I thought, what a really great way to kind of showcase my favorites, who they are, and what I really loved about them. So Tyler uses, oh, I'm so in love already. He has a lot of different weights. So he uses a lot of fingering weight, which has some nylon in it, so it's your sock weight yarn. He also uses a DK weight, a worsted Aran weight, a chunky bulky weight, and a chunky weight. So there's a lot of different options. Now, I've only purchased his fingering weight, and I just got some DK. I've never ordered his DK before. I did a video a while back on his fingering weight. So this is his fingering weight. And this one here was called Fluorescent. I think it was just called Fluorescent. Now, his colors, a lot of them are limited edition. Once you finish a lot, that's it. And then he moves on to something else. Occasionally, I think he'll repeat a color, and then he's got some solids, but most of the stuff he does are the variegated. This one was called Fluorescent. I love the vibrant. And what I'll do is I will show you, this is the picture that inspired him for this yarn. This one here is called Lunar Lilies. And I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, his pictures are what really, really drew me in. This again is a fingering weight. This is Lunar Lilies. And then that's the picture that you can see that inspired his design, if you will. Just gorgeous. And I love his dyeing techniques. I love to watch him on YouTube. So these are all fingering weight. Now, they did just have a sale, a Black Friday sale, and I had to get some. And I've never really ordered the DK weight before, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give it. Now, as an independent dyer, these yarns are going to be more expensive than your mainstreams. So I wouldn't use these on just anything. I would probably incorporate this maybe into a scarf or a cowl, add in maybe a solid, maybe picking up some of the yellows or something like that. And with this one, the purples and blues in here are just gorgeous. I wouldn't do anything just because I don't have the funds to go and make a sweater out of something like this. But it's a beautiful yarn that you'd want to, maybe kind of do a little bit smaller and then accent in. So the other ones, these are the ones I just got from him. This one is called Blushing Fields. This is gorgeous. Now, this is a DK weight. The colors in the picture, you can see here, we've got a lot of the reds going on, some browns, some pinks. Just reminded me of like lilies and calla lilies and spring. Now, this comes in at a weight of 218 yards, 200 meters. Isn't that beautiful? But I'm excited to try this in the DK. I haven't actually gotten a DK from him. This is a merino nylon superwash is what this one is here. Just love it. And I'll include all the information before. I know a lot of you probably have ordered from Tyler, Arcane Fiberworks. I know Juan the Yarn Addict has ordered from him before. I've tried to get Tyler on and maybe do like a co-show between a co-show, faux show, a co-show. I made it funny. With Juan and Tyler, just like talk about his experience, and then we'd order some yarn. But Tyler's really busy, so we'll see if that happens. This one here is called A Drop of Color. Look at that. So the purple's running through there. Again, this is a DK weight, and I believe it's the same. It is a merino nylon superwash. Look at these beautiful colors. Lots of the blues and the grays and the purples. It goes real. I mean, you can't use these two together because they're different weights, but you can see a lot of those colors coming through. So it's either this is what Tyler likes to dye, or it's what Kimberly likes to buy. One of the two. These are the colors that I gravitate towards. And the last one that I got here is called Garden Gala. Doesn't that just scream garden, irises, and spring? I love this candy apple green coming through with the purples, and then it graduates into those darker purples. Again, this is the same thing. It's a superwash merino, it's a merino nylon superwash, and it's a DK weight. And again, it's coming in at 218 yards. So this is what I just got from Arcane Fiber, and I'm very excited. Aren't they beautiful? Now, I don't know if I'm going to keep them together or if I'm just going to use, I have to look and see what other DK weights I have. But again, the independent dyer is something that's just a little bit special, and there's so many people that are out there that are doing this. I really love to support the indie crafter, the indie dyers, the people that are really trying to make a go of it. So I do like my mainstream, but I do like a little special treat. So this all came from Arcane Fiber, from Tyler and his cute family, and they're up in Canada region. Isn't it beautiful? Now, you can quite often you can find things on sale. One of the things that a lot of the indie dyers do is they do a subscription club. So if you really like them, you like what they do, and you want to support them, you can do a scan a month, and it ranges anywhere from $20 to $30 to $40, just depending on who you go with and what you do. But you would end up getting a specific color or a specific skein. So Tyler uses these amazing graphic pictures, and that's his inspiration. And like I said, each one of them kind of has their own inspiration. The one I'm going to show you next uses a lot of artwork, but Tyler just drew me in because he's gorgeous pictures. And he has things called like Deadpool, Hocus Pocus, where he brings in pictures, in those colors. So he does a lot for the autumn, for the winter, for the spring. But if you haven't seen him before, I'll include the information below, but you really got to check him out. Tyler with Arcane Fibers. I'm in love with these guys. So my next favorite dyer, and I'm only going in alphabetical order just because I thought that was the easiest. So I had A for Arcane Fiber. Now we're diving into Purple Lamb fibers, and I have talked about them a lot on this channel. I love Purple Lamb for a lot of different reasons. Carla is her name, and she lives in Texas. I believe it might even be North Texas with her family. She's an indie dyer. She's a spinner. She's a weaver. She's a knitter, crocheter, whatever. Her yarns are gorgeous. She gets a lot of her inspiration from artists and work of art, and also literature. But what I think really drew me in were the artist series that she has. So one of the ones I think that first got me into Carla was her artist series, and it just popped up somehow randomly in one of my feeds. She was doing a Starry Night yarn that was inspired by Starry Night of Van Gogh. Starry Night was an assigned pooling, and I had never heard of assigned pooling before. And I started looking into it as a result of Carla and her, inspiring me, and I fell in love. So pretty much everything I get from Carla is assigned pooling. Now, if you don't know what assigned pooling is, it is so cool. The way that they dye the yarn, certain colors will literally pool in certain areas. So the finished product is, we're going to get like pops of color. It's so interesting how this comes out. So basically, you can do a lot with assigned pooling. I would recommend, it's a little bit different than a variegated. It's different than something like this, where the color is kind of evenly placed throughout. So with an assigned pooling yarn, this is from Carla. This one is called the Butterfly Monarch. So I want you to take a look at this. I got this before. It looks similar, but you can see how there's like little pops of orange. What I also love about the yarn that Carla uses is she uses this yarn called stained glass. And if you look closely in here, you're going to see that black. And before she dyes the yarn, it's black and white. So it's called stained glass. And when this black pops through, it's just amazing and beautiful. So let me show you what I got from Carla. And then I'll talk a little bit more about assigned pooling. I don't find a lot of dyers that do assigned pooling. And I haven't found anyone that does it as well as she does, by far. So one of the things I love about Carla, she always sends it in a beautiful little box. She always includes a sweet little card. And congratulations on this new adventure and this wonderful thing. And she says, "Dear Kimberly, thank you so much for your order. I hope you enjoy both colorways. Have a Merry Christmas and God bless." Okay, so she always wraps it in purple. And then one of the things I love, and you can tell her whether or not you want this, but she packs these really yummy felt balls. Oh, it just fell. These felt balls that she soaks in lavender. Oh, so the whole box, when you open it, it smells like lavender. It's so lovely. She wraps it, so I get these little balls. I have a jar that I'm keeping all my little balls in. She wraps it in purple tissue paper. So it's like a little gift to yourself when you get it, you know? Now, the reason I placed this order was because about a year ago, so pretty. I think it was about a year ago, she had this assigned pooling yarn and I was obsessed. I was like, I have to have it. All she had was like 2 skeins and I bought it. And it was right around the holidays. It was called the Colorado Hair Streak, which is the name of a butterfly. You can see here what the Colorado hair streak butterfly looks like. But this is the yarn. Now, this is assigned pooling. So you can see all the purple. See how you have big groups of purple and you got these little pops of orange. So this is what the assigned pooling looks like. And I love purple. I love orange. And when this came out, I was an absolute sucker. But she only had 2 skeins. I can't really do a lot with 2 skeins. So I bought these last year and it was so special. I thought, I don't know what to do. So I rolled it, right? Actually, I did a cake here. So here's my cake. And then this one here, I think it started out as a cake and I was frogging it. So, but this is where you see those colors. So it starts out looking like this with these big pops of color. And then when you put it into a ball or a cake, it ends up looking like this. But when you start working with it, so I ended up getting 3 skeins from her. And she was having a Black Friday sale, but I got the 3 skeins. Notice how the color just pops. And again, this is on that stained glass yarn, the black and white. It just like, oh, it's so dramatic. It's so incredibly dramatic. So I have 5 skeins of this. I might end up doing a shirt with this because I just love it. But look at the contrast. Look at how it comes out. And I always found this was very surprising to me. When I got the skeins that looks like this, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But then when you put it into a cake or a ball, it comes out looking like this. I was like, this is interesting, right? So these pops of color, it looks more variegated to me. Let me show you. I did a little swatch just to kind of get an idea of what it was going to look like. You can see here how I'm getting this purple. And then when I get this orange coming in, I do a different stitch and I'm going to show you a finished product. So this is going to be your orange and then this is coming into your purple. This right here was just, I think it might have been like a shawl. I'm not sure what I was going to do with this. But I think it's important if you're going to go into the assigned pooling yarns to really showcase the yarn. I think it's worth it to get an assigned pooling pattern. And there's a lot of them on Ravelry and it'll be like a shawl with just like a pop of color. If you're knitting, it would be like a star or something to make the color come through. Now, when I originally got the assigned pooling yarn in the Van Gogh, and it was a twinkly sock yarn, so it had some little polyamide going through it, some little areas of shimmery. The pattern that I bought it for was called the Van Gogh Starry Night shawl. And I know me, and you guys probably know me now too, that sometimes knitting just takes so long, especially when you're using a fingering weight yarn because it's so thin. So rather than following that, I created my own pattern and I crocheted a shawl and I called it Starry Night. And it's one of my, I wouldn't say masterpieces, but it is one of my all-time favorites. Even the Brit will show this off to people. He's like, look at how gorgeous. Look at this. does this not just scream Starry Night by Van Gogh? If you don't know the painting I'm talking about, I'll show it here. But basically all I did here was a single crochet all along. And as soon as I hit some of the yellow, I would just do this bobble stitch, and I would continue to do the bobble until I started noticing, and you kind of get, after a while of working with it, you get an idea of when it's going to end. And then I would finish the bobble and I would move on. And that's but this is what it looks like. And I just love it. Love it. I mean, it looks like, like you're just looking at this beautiful night sky with these pops of stars. So this was my version of the Starry Night crocheted shawl. They had one that was knitted, but the knitted one had these star patterns, and it left a hole just by the nature of the stitch. It left a hole in the fabric and the yarn, and it was like, I just didn't like it. I loved the denseness of this. So I loved this guy here. This is one of my pride and joys, and it's very dense. And so this is my Starry Night shawl. I used now this one, the yarn that I used for this did not have the stained glass. So this one's going to be a little bit different, and then we're going to have these little pops of black and white coming in. But again, as I showed you here, you're going to see, where is it? Where did it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here it is. You're going to see how this yarn, how the pink is, or the orange rather, is really popping through. What am I going to do with this? I don't know. I just feel this yarn is really, really special. So I love Carla. She also has a subscription month, but hers has a lot with like artists and paintings, and she'll do a whole series like on Monet and the water lilies, or Van Gogh and Starry Night, or all these different famous paintings, and that's her inspiration. And then she also does some with some books. I think she did a whole series on Lord of the Rings or the Hobbits or something like that. This is another. Now she also did birds and birds and bees, I think it was. So again, this is the hairspray, Colorado hairspray. This came out of her garden or her insects line that she had, not out of her artist line. So she has a couple different things. This one is also, I got this from Purple Lamb, and this is, again, one of those assigned pooling. And this one, take a guess. I mean, you look at this and you go, what does this look like? To me, it looks like peacock feathers. And that is exactly what it's called. This came from the Garden Collection. It's called Peacock Feathers. This is on Sock Perfection. This is the assigned pooling colorway. Now this is 450 yards, so you get a lot of yardage on these guys. This one here is probably pretty close to the same, 400 yards. So these are a little tiny bit less, but again, it is your fingering weight yarn. Now the other one I got from her, and this is the first time I haven't bought a sign pooling from her. I'm pretty sure it's the first time I haven't bought. This one is called Jones Les Vendus de Tissu, and this is on a squiggle yarn. So these guys here came in at $28 a skein, which they all run in about the $28, $30 range. This one came in at $27, and it's on squiggle dye. So this is not an assigned pooling. It's on a squiggle sock, and this is part of the Artist Collection. It is a splashed and speckled colorway. This has 437 yards. Isn't it fun? I just was like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. And I think there was like one left, or, so sometimes she'll mark it down and have little sales. But this is not an assigned, but look at those colors. They're just fun. This yarn is a squiggle sock. It is a superwash merino with a 10% nylon. So the nylon is probably where you're going to get a little bit of a spring in it, and the rest of it. So it's a superwash merino wool. You're getting really good quality yarns when you order from the indie dyers. They're always going to be using like the wools or the cottons or something along those lines. But this was my most recent splurge. Now, I am making a pact with myself and the Brit and you that in 2025, I'm challenging myself not to buy any new yarn and to make things out of the yarn that I currently have. But it's not 2025 just yet. So I've had to order someone that's going to come squeaking in right under the wire. Yeah, this being some of them. So this is what I just recently got from Purple Lamb Fibers. I just love it. I absolutely love it. yeah, so I'm very, very excited. Look at this beautiful haul. I just have to hold it up and look at all the, can you guys tell? I'm kind of a color person. I'm in color. I'm just into color. So these will be used up this year. I just don't know how. But I've been sitting with this Hair Streak Colorado butterfly yarn because something has to be magnificent with this. It just has to be. And until I figure out what that is, I don't want to blow it and do something else. I was with this one here when I was doing it, I just knew. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Now this was their her sock yarn, but if you look closely, there's a little bit of sparkling to it. So this was like 90% super merino wash wool and then like 10% nylon or a little bit of squiggly. If you look close here, you can see where it's got the little bit of shine to it. I think I ended up running out of it, so I had to get a skein of the non-shimmery, which it was still the Van Gogh Starry Night. It just didn't have all the sparkling. So you can see that it's right here, and then the sparkling stuff kind of starts down here. Being that I was making it for myself, I didn't care. Because she didn't have the sparkling, it comes in and it goes out really quick, and they didn't have any more. So I really wanted to finish this, and so I made this. So pretty. All right. Let me just, because I just love it, and I need to wear her more. All right, so the next indie dyer that I want to show you, and I did a video recently where I just touched on Katie with Yarn Love, but I wanted to bring it back because I loved her yarn, and I thought, man, I got 2 skeins before, and I couldn't really remember if I'd use them, and then I just recently found them, so I thought, well, let's just revisit it as we're talking about the indie dyers. So this is Katie with Yarn Love, and she also is an independent small business. I think she's somewhere out of like Ohio or Kansas or somewhere in the Midwest. She has a business with her 2 twin daughters, and she's been dyeing for a while. She also has a yarn subscription club, as does Carla with Purple Lamb and also Tyler with Arcane Fibers. So she does, Katie does a lot of kind of like fairy tales and things like that. So the 2 yarns that I got from her a while back were called Goldilocks, and this is again a fingering weight yarn. It is 87% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. This color is called Fairy Tale. Now, these are not assigned pooling. These are just regular variegated yarns. She has some solids as well, as do Carla and as does Tyler, but my thought is, I can get a solid color anywhere. Show me what you can do. Like, show me your artistic side. So I fell in love with this, and even the label, I think, is even a little on the older side, but this is Yarn Love. So I got 2 of these in what we call Fairy Tale, and under the Goldilocks fingering weight. So she names her weights of yarn different things. This was Goldilocks, which I loved. Sorry, this is Fairy Tale. So it's kind of whimsical, a lot of pinks and browns going on in here. Just loved it. And then recently she was having a really big Black Friday sale, and so I got some stuff from her. And so I showed you this before, but this one is coming from her as well. This is called Princess Buttercup, and it is a worsted weight, and the colorway is called Crystalline, and it's 65% silk and 35% linen. Isn't that beautiful? This is a worsted weight, and again, these guys are fingering weight. So normally I just end up going with a fingering sock weight yarn, even though I'm never going to put it on a sock, because I'm never going to knit or crochet socks, because these things are just way too pretty to be in my shoes. That's how I feel. This is a worsted weight. Now this is pretty solid. I didn't choose these colors. Katie was having a big Black Friday sale, and she had these mystery bags. So I didn't know what I was getting, but I knew I was going to love it because I love everything she's done. So I got this color here, the Crystalline. Then I got this guy, a sock set. So I got these 2, and this was called Spectral Flowers. This is 85% superwash merino, 15% neon, and neon. Now, if you look close, I'm like, okay, neon is not a ingredient. It's a color. And the bright reminded me, I'm like, yes, I know. So what we're looking at here are these little flecks of bright color. Now, how that is coming through in a dyed yarn makes me think that those colors are already there, that those flecks of color are there. And then she dyes it, and then the dye comes. I'm not really sure, but those flecks because I don't know how else you'd be able to dye those without dyeing everything else. Interesting. But anyway, so this is called, this is a DK sock waist. So the idea is, or sock set, the idea is supposed to use these together. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. But these are my stash from Yarn Love. So these are my favorite. And again, they all have subscription clubs. Katie has a subscription club. I don't actually belong to the subscription clubs, especially going into 2025 where I'm not supposed to be buying any more yarn. I didn't join the subscription clubs. Plus, I just kind of like choosing what I like. I mean, some people love and they trust this, and they just like, oh, let me see what I'm going to get. And that's great. And if that's you, then this is a great option for you. I just like to go and check them out, and see what they've got. But big fans of Katie with Yarn Love, these guys here. And Carla with Purple Lamb Fiber is probably the one I've ordered the most from. These are all of my Colorado Hair Streaked Butterfly. And then I also got this beautiful squiggly from her. And I got the peacock feathers from her. And yeah. And then Arcane Fibers, which a lot of people know and love. And that's Tyler and his cute family out of Canada. So I got these guys in a DK weight. So you'll be seeing a lot more of these because as 2025 rolls in, this yarn's going to be used somewhere, just not sure where. But I have a feeling that these are all going to be made into something absolutely gorgeous in 2025. So please comment below. Let me know if you've tried any of these indie dyers, what your opinion is. And I know there's a lot of indie dyers out there. So, and I've only hit 3. There's a lot more. So comment below. Let me know who you think I should be looking at, or who you've ordered from, or who you like, and things like that. So thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. If you just joined us, wow, I'm so glad you found us. We've got so much stuff coming up in 2025 and probably 2026 and 2027. We've done so much in 2024. We do tutorials, we do book reviews and product reviews, we do Project Welcome Home, and I'm going to be doing a whole series on busting through my stash. I think I might be calling it Stash Only 2025. Not sure yet, but my goal is not to buy any new yarns and not to buy any new patterns and to bust through what I've got. So you're going to see that if you stay tuned to this channel. So definitely like this video. And if you subscribe, then you get all the notifications of when I launch new videos. So then that makes it easy for you. You don't even have to think about it. And it's my job to think about it. You just get to sit there and look pretty. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And as always, I'll see you soon.